Happy New Year, everyone. This is our first episode of the year of Financial Fraud Friday. I want to welcome you guys back. Welcome. For those of you that are new, welcome to Financial Fraud Fridays. This is a bi-weekly conversation that Kerrina and I have where we discuss some of the most recent fraud cases. We discuss the facts, our thoughts. And again, and we just kind of break it down based on our personal opinions. So I'll let Karina hit you guys with the disclaimer.
Oh, yeah. So, disclaimer. This is not legal, tax, or financial advice. All information discussed comes from public court filings, news reports, press releases, and articles. Everyone discussed is presumed innocent until proven guilty in court, as well as any advice that we give for tax purposes is opinion based and for educational purposes only. While we are tax professionals, we're not your tax professionals, but we can be. Book the link in the bio. Back to Nikkei to tell us what
We
the
can
summary
be.
is.
Okay.
Yeah,
All
we
right,
got to
you
make sure we
guys.
add
If you're not
that.
familiar with us, my name is Togba. I am the owner of Togba and Associates, a tax planning and advisory firm that focuses on entrepreneurs and professionals. We provide the support you need so that you can confidently take control of your taxes. Our services include bookkeeping, tax preparation, and advisory services. If you would like to work with me in the future, feel free to visit togbenassociates.com to get more information.
Okay, and I'm Karina O'Connor, the owner and founder of Kick Financial, where we help six-figure solopreneurs resolve their IRS problems so they can run their business with confidence. And our include helping people with tax debt that they cannot pay in full, as well as helping them file back taxes that they haven't filed for the last 54321 years. So if that sounds like you've been putting things off, you getting those IRS letters, please book a link in my bio.
All
And okay,
right.
back to the summary.
Oh, God. Okay, you guys. So, our first one of the year, and we are discussing today. This one is taken from an Office of Public Affairs, U.S. Department of Justice press release. This one's happening in Florida. We are going to
In
start
Florida.
taking this tick. We're going to start ticking where they happen
Yeah.
because Florida might be winning. You might have Atlanta beat, okay? But
Yeah.
this one is from a press release dated November 19th of 2025. So this is concerning a Congresswoman, Sheila McCormick. You've probably already heard of this. She has been charged with stealing. No, I don't like that word. She's been charged with, I'm going to just use directly what's from the press
Mm.
release, charged with stealing $5 million in FEMA funds and making illegal campaign contributions. Okay, the charges
Mhm.
she faces include theft of government funds, making and receiving straw donor contributions, aiding and assisting a false and fraudulent statement on a tax return, and money laundering, as well as conspiracy charges associated with each of these counts. Okay. And so, background on this, on what happened is that, let's see, that they've got a date, or one of the articles, we've got a date of on July 1st, due to what the Florida Department of Emergency Management calls a clerical error. An invoice
Mhm.
was sent by Trinity Healthcare, which is Miss McCormick's. This is her healthcare company that she runs and manages, apparently with her brother. So an invoice was submitted by their company for $50,578.50 to be paid out. Due to a clerical error, the Florida Department of Emergency Management actually paid out $5,057,850. That's what was paid out. Okay. In June of, and what I found to be very significant, Karina, and I'm sure that you caught this too, in June of 2024, the Florida Department of Emergency Management noticed the clerical error that caused the overpayment. Um, and requested that they return the funds. Trinity refused, and the two sides agreed to mediation. They went into mediation, and the case was voluntarily dismissed by the Florida Department of Emergency Management in May. Okay.
Mhm.
Um, So though that's the basic background of the case. Thoughts, Kerrina?
Lots of thoughts. 2024.
Oh,
Like
well, what do
my
you mean when you say 2024?
2024 is when, like 2021 is when the clerical error, and I'm using the term loosely because it based on the numbers, it does look like it was a clerical error.
Okay.
From $50,000 is the invoice that Trinity sent to, it's not FEMA,
Five
it's
million. $5,057 800 and excuse me, $5,057,850 was what they ended up paying.
ended up giving to them to
Right.
Trinity, but the invoice said 50,000.
Correct.
They just added the two extra zeros to help them pay that, so I can see how it could be a clerical error there.
Okay.
Fine. Does Florida, whatever, is it FEMA?
This is no, the Florida Department of Emergency Management.
Okay, so the Florida Division of Emergency Management, why don't they have any type of like checks and balances in place in the sense of, because when I was in corp life, once
Okay.
it hits a certain dollar amount, everyone's signing. CEO, CFO, whatever, CEO. Everyone's signing.
Mhm.
There's no, oh, we're not gonna, once it hits a certain dollar amount, everyone has to see it, which is why things take so long sometimes because you're trying to get a hold, but 50,000 to 5 million, and they didn't notice it until 2024. From 2021, I'm hoping that they have some checks and balances in place just off the strength of that, because that's a $5 million
I see what you're saying.
mistake.
I see what
That's a
you're
$5
saying.
million mistake. Like,
Oh,
that's
that's not a
crazy.
good, you're basically, that's not a good look,
That isn't a good look,
right?
and especially because this is government funds. So
Right. So you're judging her for supposedly mismanaging government funds, but
they
who
also
started
did too.
this? So did you. You did the same thing.
Yeah, they did too. They did too. Now, mind you, hers is worse. Like, hers is worse. You sent an invoice for $50,000. Ooh, we don't
Now go
talk to
ahead,
me.
go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
You sent an invoice for $50,000.
Okay.
You know it.
Fair
You know
enough.
it. You know it as a government contractor. And
Fair
then they
enough.
said in the contracts for being a government contractor, it says that if you if the government does give you funds, you are supposed to let them know and give the money back.
Okay, fair enough.
And this is kind of like an unspoken rule with anything government related. Because I remember when I was working in financial aid, and that's one thing about the government. Like, you know how, like, the customer is always right, customer is
Okay.
always right. Not with government funds. The
Okay.
government is always right. Even when they're wrong, they're still right.
Okay.
Like, even when they give you the money incorrectly, you shouldn't have gotten that money. You got the money and you spent it. You're going to have to pay that money back once they find it.
Okay. Fair
That's
enough.
it.
Fair enough.
That's it. What are you?
Fair enough. Here's my thing. I mean,
Yeah,
okay, so if because I have to, you're right. I do
yeah.
have to put some of the blame on what are they, Trinity? Is that what they're called?
Trinity is her
Her
company.
company. I have to
Sheila
put some of the
company,
blame
yeah.
on Trinity. Yeah, come on. You know good and doggone well. $5 million
A
is a long
million.
way from $50,000. Yeah. But but here's the catch to me. You guys went to arbitra mediation.
Mm-hmm.
They they voluntarily dismissed it. And when I say they, I mean the Florida Department of Emergency Management. So
Mm-hmm.
you did what legally you went through the process that you guys agreed to go through. You
Mm-hmm.
voluntarily dismissed the case, meaning the 5 mil is theirs now. You voluntarily,
No.
no, is that not what that means? Correct
Mm-mm.
me. Okay.
Settlement. They did a settlement. So the settlement was, let me tell you, is actually for, they settled out of court.
Okay.
So they had the mediation, whatever, kind of thing, but they agreed to a settlement to pay back the money over 15, like I think it was over 15 years, but I think it was let me go look at like one of the things.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay. So they
over
still have to
15
pay it
years. So
back.
they still with interest. So basically they got a $5 million, I mean, they got a $5 million loan with interest, basically. That's the best way I can say it. So it is they have to pay back 5.6 million. So the first $25,000 due April 2025, the second 25,000 May 2025,
Oh,
and then 92K has to be due before January 2nd, which is tomorrow. Well, based on how us recording this video, and then 92,000 for each quarter for 15 years until the settlement amount is paid in full. So they're getting their money back
so they're getting the
with
money
interest,
back.
with interest. And the amount before, I want people to remember it was about $5 million, like closer
Five
to $5
million.
million,
Yeah, five
and they
million
have to pay back
fifty-seven thousand.
5.6. So about $600,000 extra for the within the next 15 or so years.
Okay. All
So
right.
yeah, they're not letting it go. They're not letting it go. They
So they're
just
not, okay. So they're not letting, I was going to say that's very generous
no,
to voluntarily
they're not letting
dismiss
it go. They're
it.
not
I
letting
was
it
going to say,
slide.
oh, that's some, I mean,
Yeah,
5
they
million,
had
that's
a
generous. I've
mediation
never
settlement
heard
agreement.
anything like that before. Okay. I should have known that that was just far-fetched. I was like, wait, what?
No, yeah, they're not letting it go.
Okay. So, okay. So they do have to pay it back.
They have to pay back.
But you know what? I mean, God, both of them are at fault here, though.
They are. They are. They
Both
are
parties
both.
are at fault.
Both parties in
But
this regard.
Trinity Healthcare, personally, for me, I mean, you're saying government funds, but for anything, you invoice them $2,000.
Right.
They sent you $20,000. You know good and God doggone well that ain't yours. Just
Not
give
your
the folks
money.
back their money and get
Let's
your
give it back.
$2,000. Like, you know what I
Right.
mean? So to me, more ethics, morals,
Hmm.
okay, are missing over there.
Right.
But the Florida Department of Emergency Management has some responsibility to take for this, even though they are
Yep.
even though they get to kind of float their weight around because of course, ultimately, it doesn't matter if we overpaid you, you still got to give us back our money. They're gonna be in the right
Right.
anyway. You still made a mistake. You need to own up to that. So where's the
Right.
conversation about that? Where's the
I
conversation
agree.
about how did this happen?
Hmm.
And,
Yeah.
and unfortunately I didn't do any digging, so maybe there has been conversation, but I think
Yeah.
that
And
that's
maybe it
worth conversation.
might be internal. Maybe I don't know if they'll necessarily, well, maybe, you know what I'm saying? I don't know if they'll necessarily like explain to the public, like, hey, we're now doing something else to help with that. But I'm hoping internally they now have checks and balances once an amount, at the very least, once an amount hits a certain number, maybe 250,000, 500 something thousand, or whatever the case is, everyone needs to sign to say, oh, why are we paying X, Y, and Z person $5 million?
Yeah.
What's going on? Like, to make sure people are signing off and checking back and then looking at the invoice. And then, because errors do happen. So,
Yeah.
anybody could have just added two more zeros because that's what whomever did, they added those two extra zeros.
Zero.
But
Yeah,
okay, cool.
that's
Now that we
possible. That
added
can
that two
happen.
extra zeros and it went from 50,000 to 5 million, where are the checks and balances to make sure that that 5 million of cash is not just going out?
Yeah.
Because look how hard it is to get that 5 million back. One, it took wait, it was 21. Yeah. It took 3-4 years for them to find out that the money is missing. That's one. And how do we know that another clerical error didn't happen again, like elsewhere? This just came up because of all of this foolishness that's going on with, well, we're going to talk about with
Misappropriation of funds and
right,
assets, right?
misappropriation of funds, but are there other errors that maybe weren't as big as 5 million, but
Right. Who
still
else
made
got
an
paid?
impact? Right. And
What
that
other
still made an
vendor
impact
got
that they
more than they
haven't
were supposed to get?
caught up yet. Yeah,
Yeah.
they haven't caught up yet. So to make sure that, once the threshold changes, you need to have checks and balances to make sure that whomever it needs to sign off and double check.
And what's the
That's a lot of
threshold?
money.
Isn't there usually a threshold? I mean, there's usually a threshold where you're like, okay, maybe accounts payable can just sign off and say these things can be
Right, that's what
paid.
I'm saying. Like there
Then when
should
you
have
start
been
getting to a certain
something.
number, it's like accounts payable and the chief financial
Where's the
officer need to
CFO,
sign
the
off
CEO?
to
Like
get
there
this
should
out the door. Now we're talking about $50 million. Hold on. We need three more eyes to say this is
right,
okay. You sign, you sign, you sign. Okay, this can go out the door. You know what I mean?
right, exactly.
But then
So
again,
that's them.
mhm.
Oh, yeah, I was like, that's them. But continue what you're gonna say, because I was about to
Well, I was
pivot
just
to the
gonna say during the time of COVID, though, a lot of it was just like we got to get this taken care of. So everything was moving so fast, and funds were just coming, going. I know that's not an excuse, but it
5 million. That's crazy to me.
was.
Like that's because that's not even like nobody in their treasury department, nothing. That's cash flow that they didn't necessarily expect. Because like usually, especially with government funds or any type of company, you have like net days, net 30, net 60, net 90 days where
Mhm.
treasury is expecting that this amount of cash flow is coming out on this day.
Okay.
And say Trinity says an invoice, okay, cool. This contractor sent me an invoice for $50,000. I'm expecting only $50,000 to come out this month, but 5 million comes out like, and nobody blinks an eye for 3 years. That's wild to me.
That
That's
is
wild to me.
that's wild.
That's
That
wild to
that
me.
is wild.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
that
I
that
don't want to focus too much on the government
yeah,
now because
okay.
Sheila
Okay,
got
because
her
she
own stuff.
yeah, you know. But she's
Sheila
paying
got
the
her own.
money. But here's the thing. That part of it has already been, in a sense, rectified, right? You've already come to an agreement as to how she's going to pay back the funds. So I am
Yes,
confused as to why we're really harping on this when you've already come to an agreement as to how the funds will be repaid. So now are you just trying to ruin her, I mean, opinion,
reputation.
Nikkei,
Well,
again with her
I see what
opinion
you
and
mean.
saying what she wants to say? She's already agreed to pay you back. And if she is sticking to the stipulations of the agreement, then she's keeping up her end of the deal. So why then are we putting this on blast?
I just
Do you know what I mean? Why are
no,
we
that's a good.
talking about this and saying, okay, now here's the
That's a
other
great
thing
question.
that she's being right. Why is this a thing now when she's already made an agreement? Now, why are we putting her business in the streets?
So here it is, right? Yeah, get the business in the street. That's
Okay.
one thing. So they did agree to settle and everything is good in that regard. I think where it's the campaign. The campaign, because remember she is a representative,
I get that.
right? So she's a representative and what's happening is that 5 million that loan technically now, right? Because she was able to use those funds throughout the years for
I
three
get
years
that.
before whatchamacallit even, right? That 5 million, they're saying allegedly because of legal purposes,
Right.
that she used those funds
So,
to fund her campaign for
okay.
her even to be in the seat that she's in.
I understand. So,
So
so
what they're saying is, so that part I think is the biggest. It's like, yes, she took back the 5 million. Yes, she's paying back the 5 million, but she used those funds to manipulate to get the seat that she's in. That I think why everything is so boom, boom, pow in your face.
mm,
I think that's what that is.
when did
Because
the
they were talking
when
about the straw donors and all of that. Like she
yeah.
went like her campaign that she had from before. They said that she um raised over 100K funding before her winning campaign, right? To her special election campaign to 6 million
Yeah, I saw
in
that.
campaign funds
Okay.
from $100,000. Not to say because
That's a
I'm
that's
a
a big
proponent of
variance right
somebody,
there. And that's huge.
anything can happen.
Yeah,
You know
gotcha.
what I'm saying? But from 100K to 6 million,
Yeah, that's a jump.
it doesn't
That's
it
a
doesn't sound
jump.
right. And then you got this extra 5 million that you wouldn't have normally gotten, and then that six, you know what I'm saying, like 6
Yeah.
million magically appeared in your campaign funds, and that was one of the reasons
Ouch.
why you're
Yeah.
able to beat your people. And I think they
Component.
said
Because
maybe
she
by
she won by
11
what,
votes.
11 votes or something like
Yeah, I
that?
think by 11 votes. And it was because of the amount of um because money helps because those political campaigns,
I get it.
advertisements, and all of that, they add up. So
I get it. And I
now it's a question of should you even have been in the seat that you got to
ouch.
based
But
on the
it
money
had
that
you
you got
not
from
gotten those extra funds. Oh, that's
the
yeah.
extra funds that you should not have gotten
That'll
in the first place.
because I
And
saw
then
that.
trying to put them in different accounts because like this fund goes into this account, it goes into that account, it goes into that account to give to this person to donate to your campaign fund. Like I think that's the reason why
Okay.
we're having this conversation now.
Because I
And
saw
then now,
that. And
yeah.
my question was, okay, who can donate? Who can donate to a Congress,
Mm-hmm.
if a federal, who can donate? And it says U.S. Congress
Mm-hmm.
members, they can donate unlimited funds of their own money,
Mm-hmm.
okay, to their
Mm-hmm.
campaign. Ooh,
Yeah. And I
well,
think it's like a loan, they can, and then I think
corporations
donation.
cannot donate though. And I don't know if Trinity
They
is an
can.
LLC. No, this says, corporations and labor organizations. The Federal Election Campaign Act prohibits corporations and labor organizations from making contributions in connection with federal elections. I could be wrong.
Okay,
Um,
I didn't know that.
this is the information I pulled.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what
Good
Trinity
question.
is. If it's an LLC, a corp. Unfortunately, I did
Oh
not
yeah, I don't
get to
know. It's a
look
good
there.
question.
But apparently, maybe it has to be a corp
But
because if
not necessarily. Not
no,
necessarily, because remember this the straw donors thing. So
does she pay
if
it?
it's not coming directly for whatever, it's saying, oh, family members or friends of family members are given the money to then donate to the campaign. So it looks like they're the ones that are giving the money as opposed to Trinity or whatever the corporation blah 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 is.
That always okay.
I
So
think that's it.
that always people, if there's a paper trail, understand. If it always blows my mind, I'm like, there's a paper trail. We can see, we can
We can
see
see.
that, right? I mean, like,
We
and
can
I'm
see
being
everything.
funny, but I'm just kind of like, as a forensic
Yeah.
accountant or an auditor or you can trace we can this can be traced, follow
Yeah.
the money type deal, right? So when people say sometimes that, oh, they don't know what happened, I'm like, no, you guys just don't want to dig. If you follow the money, you'll know exactly what happened, but you don't want to
Hmm.
in this particular case. You just decide where you want to follow the money. And so, okay, unfortunately, I don't know in this case for
Yeah.
her, they followed the money. Her tax, it's, something to note is that her tax accountant is also being charged for
Charged.
filing a fraudulent tax return.
Hmm.
Um, that, um, I don't know, and I'm gonna, that to me is slightly unfortunate because sometimes as tax preparers, we are able to rely on your word.
Yes.
Even though we have
But
to do some due diligence of asking additional questions. What's your but?
yes, yes, but
Okay.
that's not the case. Based on the WLRN article, that's not
No.
the case that
Okay.
I'm understanding here with that. So it seems that the tax accountant that did her thing, they prepared a trial balance for her 2020-21 tax return before. And then in the trial balance, one of the let's say the employees or whatever of that firm had deposits that were owner's distribution, campaign, EC firm, and Sheila personal. And
Label.
then yes, so that was in March of
Oh man.
2022.
Okay.
And then in April of that same year, 2022, um, the owner of the firm, Kofi Spencer, says that he asked a different employee to create a second trial balance and then change the deposits to consulting and contractors.
So he
So that's
said,
not the
so
case here.
this is, I mean, allegedly, he says this,
Alleged. That's what the article says, allegedly.
that
So
he admitted to creating a second trial balance.
that's what the article says that happened. Not
Allegedly.
necessarily he
Okay.
admitted it, but that's what the article says has happened. So
Oh
it's not a
man.
situation of, oh, he got
Okay.
these this tax return or he got this P&L. Like his company was the one who prepared the P&L in this trial balance. And then and in addition to that,
Uh,
there was a church where the firm, Kofi Spencer's firm, listed a contribution of $1.2 million to a church in Maryland. And then when the IRS subpoenaed the records for that tax return, the response altered the original tax letter from the church to falsify that she did donate. So that doesn't sound like that's the case for this tax preparer. So
I was ready to fight for. Where'd you get that? What article were you reading? I need that. That's okay. Wait,
WRLN.
what? Okay, because I was kind of digging around, but that's good stuff. That's good stuff right there.
Yeah, I
I
was like,
did
this
not
one
know
was
that.
really detailed.
Oh, dang. I was ready to fight for you, Miss McCormick. I was about to throw you like, no, just
Yeah,
right.
that
That's what
one.
happens when you don't have all the, oh, yeah,
Yeah. So it's all
that's
really unfortunate
unfortunate.
because it's all coming to light. They said they're gonna have their arraignment, I think, in January of
Okay,
this year. But yeah, like
that's unfortunate.
it's all unfortunate. And then they said how many years for everybody? She faces up to 53 years in prison
Mm-hmm.
if convicted, and her brother 35 years.
Mm.
LeBlanc, the person who was on the campaign thing, up to 10
A
years.
campaign
And
manager.
Spencer,
Okay.
campaign manager, yeah.
Okay.
Spencer, the tax preparer, 33 years.
33 years. I was concerned,
Up to,
but
up to, up to, up to.
oh, up to,
Everything is
up
up
to.
to and of it. Yeah,
Gee.
that's a lot of years. But
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
it could be, it's like
All
a
right.
lot of this is like coming to light. I'm wondering what happened to break the straw that broke the camel's back to say, oh, let me dig into her thing. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Well, this is
But
politics. Maybe she made,
yeah,
Nikkei
maybe
and
she
her
did pissed
opinions
somebody off.
again. Maybe she made somebody mad, or she said
She probably
something
did
and
and just like, oh,
he
let's
said
look
something
into
at
you.
lunch somebody didn't like, and they were like, "Oh yeah, I'm coming for you, lady. I'm taking your
Probably.
whole."
And
I mean, just
uh,
Nikkei and those good opinions. She's gone. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
it could be
I don't
that
know.
because
It could be as
it's
something as
looking
small as that. I mean, this is the
it's
world.
looking real bleak. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's looking real bleak. She
Yeah.
maintains her innocence, though. Sheila McCormick maintains her innocence and believes she should have her day in court.
That's it.
Right now she's kind of on like a travel ban, for lack of better words. She's able to like go to work in the DMV area, and then I think they said to visit her mom in I can't remember what county or whatever
Okay.
in Florida. Um, and that's basically it right now, for traveling purposes. So if it's not work, it's it. I'm actually surprised that she's still maintaining her job,
I
actually.
as well she should. I think she should.
Yeah, I was
I
like,
think she should.
I'm surprised. I'm not saying, I'm just
Oh,
surprised
okay.
that they
Yeah, yeah.
didn't, I think the only thing they said that they removed her from the committee, some whatever committee that she was on as
Okay.
like maybe a president or something like that.
Okay.
But she's still a representative as of now.
Okay. I mean, and again, that's my opinion. I think she should
Yeah,
pay her
innocent until
fee.
proven
If
guilty.
she is, I mean, because, and I don't know, she's your congresswoman, isn't she?
She
She's
is.
your congresswoman, right?
Which is
So
crazy.
yes, this is something that she's done that shows bad character. But if the work that she is doing in her seat, in her position, has been good work, who am I? I don't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know
I
either, but
get
to be
you.
honest,
I do get you. I don't know. But compared to some other people sitting and
other
still
people
holding their seats, why should we tell her she should vacate hers? And now that's just me separating the two topics. I'm not saying that
I
what she
understand what
did
you're
was
saying.
right. I'm simply saying didn't seem to me like just because what she did was wrong means she should vacate her seat. Because if that's the case,
A
a
lot of
bunch
people should
of
be
other
vacating.
people need to get up and go too. That's all I'm gonna say. So,
I get what you're saying.
yeah.
So I
So,
guess now to like wrap up in the summary, like what would you say is something that people should be aware of? What should they think of? What should they learn and take? What are the takeaways
What are the
from this episode
takeaways?
of
I
financial fraud?
mean,
Yeah.
what I'll be honest with you, for the public, I say what are the takeaways? You need to be excuse me, let me not point my finger at you because same
Anybody,
I
right?
am speaking, preaching to myself too. We need to be more involved in our in politics and in local politics and it because come
True.
on. Come on. Nobody we should there Florida, you guys there should be a little bit of an uproar. Like what you talking about 5 million? Where'd it go? What you talking about?
Mm.
You know what I mean? So we need to be more involved because that's a question that needs to be asked. How y'all did you fix that? Who else did you give money to? Somebody needs to be asking those questions. And that's
It's a good
not there,
question.
it's our money that is being funneled to, and you know what I mean? So
Oh
to be
yeah,
more involved. That's my
that's
takeaway.
true.
We all, present company included, need to be involved.
I agree with that. I will always and forever agree that we should be more involved, especially in our local elections. Understanding who knowing who our representative is and what we can do and our power in that as well. Like we can everything is public knowledge in the sense of we can email them, we can call their office, we can go to their office and have that conversation to say, hey, I want this, this, and this to happen. You, representative who represents me in Congress, what are you doing to make sure that this is done? And local elections as well. You in my city, you in my county, you in my whatever, whatever, whatever. What are you doing to help me so I can continue to vote for you and not just vote frivolously?
Yeah.
Another thing is that with the yeah, because campaigns are hard, especially, you know what I'm saying? What she did was wrong with the donor and getting all the money and doing all that. What she did was wrong. I want to make that extremely clear. But raising the funds for campaigning is very, very difficult.
Mm.
Uh, and if you want someone, I'm not saying her for per se, but if you want
Oh,
your local person or whatever else to help, make sure that you're not just like you're campaigning in any way that you can for them. If you don't have the money, cool, volunteer your time. If you don't have the time, but you have the money, go ahead and get the money. If you don't have the time, like, you know what I'm saying?
yeah, I
Like,
got you. I get you. Oh, you're
spread
saying
the
to become more
word,
active, more involved. Here's a way.
become more
If you
active
can't
and
do
more
it
involved.
financially, here's another way. You can do it with your time.
Yeah, do
I
do
got you.
something else
I
to make
got you.
sure that the person you want in that seat
Okay.
is able to do so because and it's not because of they just didn't have enough money to
Got
people
you.
just didn't know who they are. Like it could be a local guy down the street, your neighbor or whatever, and he could be a really good senator, represent whatever seat, but he doesn't have the funds to do so.
Yeah, I got you.
And the people who have the money are the ones that are getting out and getting in front
Mm.
regardless. So that's just I think that's my opinion. Um,
Yeah,
yeah,
I got you.
yeah,
Well, this
yeah.
is an ongoing case. I am going to keep an eye out for it. Again, these are allegations. She's not been convicted. She's still in her seat. So we're just watch and see what happens. I invite you guys to, we invite you guys to leave comments. If you've got, read some of these articles. Again, get involved, get in the know. Kerrina and I are here every other Friday. And we just talk about these cases and our opinions. We could do this all day, but I want to thank you guys for hanging out with us for the little time that you did. I encourage you to follow us on our social media pins. You can follow me at Togba and Associates and Kerrina at Kate Financial on Instagram, right? And LinkedIn. You can follow her on LinkedIn. Kerrina is very active on LinkedIn. I am not. Um, but that's all right. So you guys were, I want to thank you guys for hanging out with us. I encourage you to follow, share. If you have any comments, any questions, go ahead and leave those in the comment section. We'd love to communicate with you and see what your thoughts are. And we look forward to seeing you guys again in the next Friday after next. Okay.
Yeah.
Anything you want to add, Karina?
Nope. Have a
No,
great
that's it.
Happy New
All right,
Year.
you guys. Thank you for hanging out with us. Y'all have a good one. Bye.